And we're pleased to be joined this morning by those two heroes, manager Daniel Nicholson and former bond disposal expert Joel Snarr, to hear their side of the story, and welcome both of you. And it's incredible, the bravery that you showed that day. That is in no doubt whatsoever. Daniel, I wanted to start with you because the circumstances around you being there, you're a general manager for a cabling business, you're driving home with your son who's 14. What happened?
Exactly that. We were driving home, just picked him up from his friend's house, and out of the blue, a plane just come out of the... within seconds, there was no warning. The plane just came out and crashed into Central. Managed to get under the wings, and thankfully they were still alive. That was the main thing. But then obviously you realise you've got to get them out because the plane was already on fire.
Yeah.
So I saw the two people. I could see two people at the beginning because there was another one at the back, and they were obviously very distressed and screaming for help. So.
What did your son say when you got out of the car? Because, you know, you look at something like that, there is a plane that's just come down, it's on fire, there is always going to be the risk of explosion. Yeah. And so you leave him in the car and just say, I'll be back in a minute?
I was probably there within 5 seconds. I can't even remember what I think I said, stay there, and just got out of the car and ran as quickly as possible to the plane.
And Joel, you were driving past as well and stopped. So when you jumped out of the car, so he was already working on the plane?
Yeah, so Daniel was heading towards Abergavenny. I was heading away from Abergavenny. The plane hit the central reservation and only just missed Daniel's car by probably 30 or 40 metres. I was a bit further back on the other side of the road with my wife. It took a couple of seconds to realise exactly what had happened. I said to my wife, don't panic, and I just jumped out of the car over the central reservation and started sprinting towards the plane.
And by the time you'd got there, you'd already managed to get the younger two out, but you were struggling with the pilot, and you were integral, really, to pulling that pilot out of the wreckage.
The whole day was integral to the pair of us working together and both of us reacting that way.
So what did you do? How did you get in?
Well, thankfully, Daniel had thought quicker than I and moved faster than I. He'd smashed the back window of the small white aircraft, which isn't very big at all, extracted the first two casualties, passengers, and as I got there, the pilot was reaching with arms out through this little hole. I just grabbed hold of him.
Well, the three people you got out were Jack Moore, who's 19, his sister Billy Manley, who's 16. They were flying to watch Cardiff City play Manchester United with their pilot, uncle, Stuart Moore, after it attempted an emergency landing on the A40. Were you thinking at that point, because I know you said that people had driven past, you'd watch cars drive past, and so you were the guys that stopped, you were the guy, and you often wonder in those circumstances, which person would you be? Would you be the one that drove past and got out of the way, or would you be the one that jumped out of the car and ran towards it? Were you thinking at any point, you're ex-army, this could blow up?
Yeah, I'm very aware the plane's on fire, one side of it. Yeah, you're aware that blow up may be a strong word, but certainly the rest of the fuel could combust. We wouldn't be sat here now being congratulated or thanked. It would be a different story.
Completely different story.
Joel, you, having served, yourself, you have post-traumatic stress disorder following 15 years in the army, and I know that you get cognitive behaviour therapy weekly. Witnessing something like that at home when you're not expecting it, how does that affect that treatment that you're having? What does that do?
There will be positive and negatives. The negative will be maybe it's set me back weeks or a couple of months. The positives being with the cognitive behavioural therapy, I've learnt a lot about how my mind works and what to expect and how to deal with those unexpected circumstances. So it's both positive and negative.
And you've been able to help Daniel, actually, with
I've been
that.
trying, yeah.
Because you've only just really starting to process what happened. Understandably, this was only at the weekend. It's a huge thing for anybody to see something like that. How are you dealing with all of that?
Well, to be honest, it's been such an emotional rollercoaster over the last couple of days. Obviously, there's been a lot of press and interest in the story. Thankfully, it's a positive story to tell, but I think it's only now that it's starting to process and sort of realise the gravity of what we've done. And, I think we say we're quite proud of what we've done.
You should
absolutely. And you've spoken to the pilot's mother, haven't you?
She briefly phoned me on the Monday morning from a private number just to say, could you pass on thanks to Daniel and to yourself and just let you know everyone's out of hospital. and they're fine.
Well, the
That's
crash
a
victims
miracle.
have said, we would like to thank Joel, Daniel, the emergency services and everyone else who helped us from the bottom of our hearts. The courage, bravery and quick thinking of the two men proved to be life-saving. We will be forever grateful for their actions, and their families should be very proud of them for what they've done. I would also like to thank my uncle, and this has come from Jack, obviously, remained calm and prevented any serious injuries to anyone in the area. The whole experience has been overwhelming, and I can only thank everyone for their kind messages, and that's from Jack Moore.
Yeah, well done, you two. Incredible thing to do, it
Amazing.
really is.
Well done.
Thank you.
And you say, speak out, talk. If you have any mental health issues, then it's important to share them.
Certainly, with it being Mental Health Awareness Week, I was keen to come here and try and use this little time in the spotlight just to get a little simple message across to anyone who's struggling to cope. That was all. If I've got it on that card, if that's okay.
Yeah. You say if you've been shot, stabbed, assaulted, or received any other physical injury in service to the country or community, you wouldn't think twice about going to see a doctor about the injury and beginning a recovery process. It'd take a week. It could take a month. But as you say, the body and mind can be fixed. And these sort of injuries should be worn with pride because you don't have them for no reason.
Absolutely
Thank you.
true. Thank you.
Thank you
Very
very
well
much for
said.
that.
Thank you both.